Thanks everyone for joining me. My name is Kevin Anyango, and I'm the founder of Mtandao Varsity School of Soft Skills. The platform basically talks about those characters or those behaviors that make one employable. Some people call them personality skills, others call them employability skills. Today, I'm not alone. Today, I've got Ramatulahi from Sierra Leone, but lives in the United States. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I've got to tell people that, we've never met, but when I wrote to you and you replied back straight to me, which it doesn't happen. Most of the times people take their time. I want to make sure this thing is it real, not real? So listen, thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate it. And I don't take that for granted.
You're very welcome.
And congratulations, you just be admitted to the bar, right?
Yes, I did. Just admitted to the D.C Bar.
So what does that mean? What does that mean?
So to become an attorney in the United States, you have to get a law degree, but first you have to have an undergraduate degree, a university degree, a bachelor's, and then you take the LSAT, that's the law school admission test. And after you do that, you apply to law school and you attend law school for 3 years. And then after you take the bar exam, and once you take the bar exam, you pass, you become a licensed attorney if you pass the bar exam, and you're licensed to practice law in the states that you take the bar exam in.
So you can practice law now from today?
Yeah, in DC. Yeah, I can practice law in DC.
Marvelous. So if I get in trouble, I know which number to call. And so you were born in Sierra Leone, and then you moved to Nigeria as a refugee.
Yeah, yeah.
How was that? Because most of the times I've been to various refugee camps myself, and sometimes people can be very demoralized.
Right.
Particularly in education, and also you being a girl as well. There are lots of things that come across women who are refugees. So how was that like? I mean, how was that like, Ramatullah?
Yeah. So I moved from Sierra Leone to Nigeria because of the civil war that happened in Sierra Leone. About I was 2 or 3 years old, I can't remember correctly. And I lived in Nigeria. I lived some time at the camp, and then we moved in the city in Lagos Island. And we gained resettlement to move to the United States. And my time in Nigeria with my family was very difficult. There was a lot of suffering and hardship. So because my mom, she was not afforded the opportunity to gain an education, so she ensured my siblings and I will, get an education when we were in Nigeria. So from that, we studied, and then we moved to the United States through UNHCR. We gained resettlement, and then we moved to the United States when I was about 13 years old. So that was in 2006.
You could speak English. I mean, you speak French, right?
No, so Sierra Leone, they don't speak French. Oh. People always make that mistake.
Well, it's Western Africa, right? So, I suppose what I'm trying to ask is, when you moved to the United States, you could speak English.
Yeah. I could speak English because I lived in Nigeria, so I went to school, so learned English. Yeah.
So
and
do you speak that? Do you speak the? So carry on.
Yeah, I also speak my mother tongue, which is Fula, because I'm Fulani, and I also speak I have forgotten a lot the Yoruba language in Nigeria.
Yes.
And the Pidgin.
But do you understand? Can you? I was talking about Pidgin. So can you understand a bit about it, Wallaha and all those stuff?
yes. Now, yeah, definitely, I understand Pidgin.
You said it. Yes, now, yeah.
Yes, now.
I was going to ask you to say that. Oh, brilliant. Well, look, Ramatullah, I mean, so this platform really is to talk about not academics, but
Right,
those personalities that make people or brings opportunities to people. Well,
right.
clearly, I can feel your personality. You know, you're a very confident lady. You know, you appear like you're not bothered really. But so the confidence you have right now, where did that come from? From the family, from the refugee camp, or the United States?
So the confidence took a while for me to build myself. And I feel like confidence is something that you build as you grow into your career. It's not something that just happens like, in one shot. So growing up in even in the United States, like it was very difficult for me to adjust to the living environment when I had just moved here. And it really it affected me in terms of like making friends in high school. And because I'm very reserved into myself. So it was a culture shock for me. So growing up in that aspect, like I didn't have that much confidence in myself, even throughout high school and even college. So the confidence it built when I was going through the struggles in terms of like applying to law school, looking for jobs, and also having my family support that believe in me, and that encourage me to believe in myself. So going through that struggle, seeing that, oh, I can achieve this if I believe in myself, and be dedicated to what I want to achieve. So that's what helped me build confidence in myself. It's not something that just happened in one shot.
Right.
A while.
Right. So you did just wake up and you became who you're at now. I mean, that confidence.
No.
But if I just go back to the family, Ramatullah, if I may. Uh, so forget about refugee camp, just in a normal family. Most of the times, families tend to push their kids to do subjects that are seen to be very profitable in terms of salary. So you wanted to be an attorney. Did that come from family? That was you.
So that was me, because I've always liked anything very challenging, and I believe becoming an attorney really, fits into that. So my family had always, been very supportive in anything that I chose to do, and especially when it comes to education, like I mentioned earlier. My mom really wanted, my siblings and I to, to get an education because she was not afforded that opportunity. So in that way, I was able to, see what my mom went through, and also have this, this goal to do something in life where I can, help people and be of service. So, and that's what I, decided to become an attorney, to be of service to others.
So, so your service to people in America now, it doesn't matter.
Sorry?
So service to people in America, it doesn't matter where. I mean, for you
It
just to serve, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
right.
matter where you are.
It doesn't matter. And I mean, becoming an attorney, there's different areas of, practice of law. It depends on what you're interested in.
Yes.
And I'm interested in international law, and that's, more specifically international arbitration, investor state dispute settlement. So that's the area that I'm interested in. And being of service, you don't have to have a like a high position or to help people. You can help people, in any way. Even the a regular citizen can help people. So you don't have to hold a higher status to help
Right.
people. Yeah.
Right. Eh, now, because I know your story, and I don't want to speak, I want to speak for you, and I don't know what to ask or not to ask. But I'm very interested in the personality element of it. Again, if you excuse me, I want to go around refugees. Well, having that title, being a refugee. So I've been to several refugee camps myself, and it's a very pathetic place. People are very demoralized, and I would say you're the lucky few that actually are able uh, to move away from that kind of environment and move to America, which again is not easy. and make us also ask the sort of challenges. So, but when you are around in the refugee camp and what you're seeing around you, did that play part in terms of your confidence as well?
Yes, it did in a way, because even though at that time I was very young, I was, living in Nigeria, and then when I would attend the like interviews that we had with UNHCR, to come to the United States, like I've seen other refugees and who were in a very challenging situation, because at that time there in the refugee camp in Nigeria, there were refugees from all over, from Liberia, from Ivory Coast, from Sierra Leone. So it's everyone's situation is different, and I'm not trying to say every stories of individual is better than the other, but it's all struggles that all refugees have been through. So people, so the refugees, they're like I heard stories of other refugees, during that time in Sierra Leone when the war happened, where people were amputated, people were molested, women were like sexual assault, all sorts of things. Like everyone's story is unique and different.
Right.
So, I feel like it's as you get older, especially as a young child, when you see these images and you see these stories, I
Yes.
feel like the memories come back when you're older, because that's the situation for me. Because at that time it was not, I'm just a young child,
Right.
just a young girl. So I wouldn't, think of it as something very pity, like how people pity refugees, because I'm just living my life. So it's even in when I moved to the United States, like being I struggled like being identifying myself at that time like I was a refugee, because at that time it was not painted as in the most positive light, because as you can see in the media how refugees are portrayed.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so it was as I got older, like I felt comfortable, to share my story, to share that, I was once a former refugee, because right now there's a lot, refugee people who are suffering in the all over the
Indeed.
world.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's very sad, and it's it's something that I feel like society to do to help, people who are less fortunate than you are.
Well, that's interesting, Ramatullah. Now, I want to mix the word. I want you to words refugees and migrants. I mean, it's very hard to differentiate. Well, I know refugees is people leave their countries without their own will because of the situation.
Right.
And I'm a migrant myself. I was born and brought up in Kenya, but I live in England, and I don't see myself as English at all. I am a Kenyan, but you are a refugee. Clearly, the stories are different. The reason why I'm revolving around your background is because people don't just wake up and they start a career.
Right.
There's something that that builds up, passion, confidence, what you want to achieve, and that's why your background is very important for my viewers to understand that I'm not just checked to any other guy. I don't somebody with experience, and I don't know whether I should mention your age or not. I will not do that. But what I will tell viewers is, I don't know this, right? I won't mention exactly because I know who you are. So I'm going to say you are age between 18.
Okay.
No, I cannot say the age. No, you're age between 18 and 27. I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Now, at that age, if someone is, let's say, 22, 23, they still don't know who they are. They still struggle with their identity, as you said, they still want to have fun. And then after graduating, you're like, oh, I need not start looking for work. But in you, despite you're quite very young, but I know you've done some internship with United Nations. You've done some work with various international charities. What was that, to build yourself, or was it because of boredom or because of opportunities there?
So like just to give you like an example from when I had graduated college, I mean I knew I wanted to be an attorney. So I applied to my first time that I applied to law school, I didn't get accepted to any. And then I took the LSAT, twice. That's the law school admission test. So during that time, when I found out I didn't get accepted to law school, I was very depressed, and I used that opportunity during that time to just to find a job in a law firm, and then wait till the next year and then try again for law school. So I, spent time online applying, and then I also visited law firms in my community and, introduced myself and presented my resume to see if I can get like a legal assistance position. So
And this was in America. So you're doing this in America.
America, yeah, when I had just finished university.
And how was it like to approach people, tell who they are and who you are, and also, try to talk about your background? Was that easy for you to get those opportunities or not?
Yeah. So that time, because I'm the type of person, like, if I really, really want something, like, I would go for it. I'll just focus on the goal and do everything that I can to achieve it. Like, I'm that very determined. So I, went to different law firms, presented my resume, introduced myself, but none of them called me back. So I, applied online, and then this law firm in my town close to where I live, um, I was called for an interview, and then I got the job as a legal assistant. So I worked there for a month, and I was fired after a month. And my hiring manager told me that maybe I should do something else, maybe law school might be.
Wait, go back. So you are fired.
Yes, I was fired.
What?
So I
You're not
was
very good at your
fired at
meat?
the law firm. Sorry.
Were you not very good, or why did they do that?
So I was fired because they said I was making mistakes, but I was not the only one who was making mistakes there, because there were other employees who were doing the same. So I was fired after a month, and the hiring manager told me that maybe I should, look at other fields, and maybe law might not be the one for me. So it really affected me at that time, because that was just when reality hit me, and I was just about 22 years old, I believe, at that time. So with my family, support and encouragement, like, helped me a lot going through that journey at that time. So what I did instead, I prepared for the LSAT again, and I was doing that. I was volunteering in my community, helping refugees who were just like myself to adapt to the culture. I will visit their home and give them cultural orientations, just to teach them things that helped us when we had just moved, so they can adapt to the new environment. So I did that, and then I prepared for the LSAT, and then I applied for law school for my second time, and that was when I got accepted to Thurgood Marshall School of Law in Texas. So that's that's what I did. And that experience, I feel like, it was God showing me maybe I should, stop working and then prepare for the LSAT, because working and then preparing for the LSAT can be very difficult because it's very time consuming. And at that time, I was driving from like my hometown to Philadelphia. It was like an hour, every day to get to work. So it was a lot. So that experience prepared me for law school too, because law school too is something else, because it's
Well,
difficult.
I know. I know. I was going to ask that because I've got my younger sister actually in Kenya. I think they referred to as lawyer. So I do know the process and also how difficult it can be. Um, but talk to me about resiliency. I mean, so I didn't know that you struggled at this law firm and you was fired. But you still carry on
Yeah,
doing what you're doing. So
yeah.
that's resiliency. I mean, uh, how do you? So at that time, what were you feeling? Like I've been fired. I'm still very young. I don't know where I want to, what I want to do.
Mhm.
Did you know that you had that kind of resilience in you? That I'm going to carry on and carry on.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't know at that time. So it's something that built over time. So I feel like I learned that when I was in law school, with how challenging it was. So I think that was when I realized that, wow, I can do anything that I set my mind to do. Like, it doesn't matter any obstacles or any barrier that I face, like, I can definitely do it. I just have to focus on the goal and work hard towards it, regardless of what I'm seeing in front of me. So I just have to focus on that. So it's something that built over time, and then you have to push yourself and you have to try, because you wouldn't know that, oh, I can achieve this until you try. So you have to try, you have to make an effort. And naturally, I'm a very disciplined person, so that also helped me. Like, you have to, be very disciplined and know that, oh, I need to focus on my goal. So that helped me throughout law school too.
So when you talk about discipline, so that's referred to being focused, or also came from the family as well. Like you didn't want to let down your family.
Yeah, so like that's already within me naturally, like that's one of my character, like I'm very disciplined. So because even I feel like sometimes you have to help yourself in order for people to help you, because sometimes you may have family support, you may have friends and mentors that encourage you, but you also have to know that you really want to do this. You have to help yourself, because you can get all the support you have in the world, but you have to make the effort.
Right.
So that requires discipline. It
And,
requires
and
discipline.
Ramatullah, that's interesting. And I know that time is an essence here. Uh, so what do you tell young people? There are lots of young people all over the world, really. I've got very good academic qualification in terms of certificates and degrees and all that stuff, but they struggle to get opportunities. They're saying it's very difficult to get opportunities. What do you tell them in relation to your story and where you are right now?
Mhm. First, I would say once that you should find your why, like what you want to be, and once you find that you focus on your goal, try to do some research. Let's say you want to be like a nurse, you want to be a doctor, try to reach out to people who are already nurses or who are already doctors and seek advice. And one thing to note is that you may face a lot of challenges and rejections, because that's bound to happen. It's life. We all face rejections. So you should know that you shouldn't, deter away from that and focus on the goal, because that's also preparing you for the next step that you take. So, know what you want to do, your why, and focus, and then work towards it.
Lots young people, whenever I go back home or I'm in any African country, people always assume that life in the north, let's say North, I mean Europe, America, that it is easier to kind of get those opportunities. Is that the case and where you are right now?
No, it's not. Nothing in life is easy. You
But,
have to
but
work
sometimes
hard.
I know, but sometimes they say that if you are home, at least you understand the culture. It's your home. You understand people, you understand the language very well. But here you are now. You cross the border. So the kind of the determination or the hashes are a bit different. So I do know some people that say, sometimes you can stay without work in America, for example, but you need to go hungry. So people tend to say, I'd rather suffer when I'm in America than suffer in Sierra Leone.
Okay, I see what you're saying, the difference. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand that, because I have family members who say the same thing. But I feel like everyone's path, everyone's destiny is different. So I think maybe the challenges that you are facing in where you are in some country in Africa is different than the challenges that you would face when you are in the Western world, like in Europe or in North America. So every challenge is different. So it depends on the environment or how you feel like you will adjust. Maybe the challenges that you may face if you move to the United States, let's say you're coming from a French speaking country, is learning how to speak the language in the United States, adapting to the culture is very different. It's completely different,
Yes,
because I
yes.
experienced it when I just moved here. Like it's completely different. It will be a culture shock for you. So let's say you are a person who you're a doctor in Kenya, and then you move to the United States, and you feel like you want to continue in that path, but you have to start from the bottom, which is
Yes.
like, wow, because that was not my situation when I was in Kenya. So maybe it would have been better for me to stay in Kenya than be in the United States, and then doing like a job that's below you, that was different compared to when you were in Kenya. So maybe those are the challenges that you will face moving from like in Africa to the United States.
But in general, challenges can be overcome, isn't it? I mean,
Right. Oh
if you
yeah.
say it, anyone can do it.
Yes,
And
anyone can do it, and you shouldn't be discouraged, and you shouldn't give up.
right, right,
Like that's it. Like you can never give up on yourself. As long as you believe in yourself, you believe you can achieve this. Don't give up. Never
right,
ever.
right. And I mean, listen, it's easier said than done. But clearly, listening to you, it hasn't that easy. But you done it. I mean, you have. Well, so I mean, I don't know what else you want to do in terms of objective in general, but just the sheer fact that you got this amazing certificate, well, amazing title. It didn't come easy for you. And for those people that listen to us right now, I think the message is you got to believe in yourself, keep working hard, stay focused, you know, trust your family and your network as well, and just go out and do it, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And also, help others, and in everything that you do, approach it with empathy. In anything that you choose to embark on, approach every situation with empathy. And
Why
let
empathy? Why should people care about that?
Because I feel it's very important, especially with your interaction with others, with your interaction with strangers. Like, try to put yourself in their situations, and just so you understand their point of view, and remove yourself from that, like your own environment, to understand another. Because I feel like there's always an issue with communication, even in the work environment, or anywhere, in any field. So I think approaching things with empathy in anything you do in life, it's the way. Because sometimes I feel like people are very so centered in only themselves, especially people who maybe, I don't want to say like make it in life. They tend to forget about where they came from, or who helped them get to where they are. So, like, if you do find like a let's say, for instance, because I've had a lot of law students approach me and ask for advice in preparing for law school or looking for a job. So, like, I believe in paying it forward, like giving back. So you have to put yourself in their situation, because you were once in that position, to
Yes, yes.
understand them, and help them, and just be kind.
But do you use your story? So, for example, let's talk about your stint at United Nations. To get that opportunity, did you use your story, or I mean, did you, whenever you look for opportunities, do you use your story?
Yeah, so I do mention that in my cover letter. If it's the right situations, because sometimes I feel like you have to set yourself apart from other applicants, and
Yes,
you make yourself unique. You don't want to, have a generalized like cover letter. You have to, showcase who you are. That's what you can bring to the work environment, to different perspectives, different diversity. So yes, I definitely do mention that.
and I like that. I think many people usually tend to forget, or they tend to say that if they use their story, it may work against them. But most of the time, it does open doors, because um, personally, in experience, I feel like people like listening to stories.
Right,
You know,
right,
so
exactly.
even if I mean, so do you agree that again, in relation
Yeah,
to
yeah,
your own experience?
definitely. Yes,
Yes,
yes, I agree. And I feel like you shouldn't shy away from that, because it's who you are. It's what has
yes,
made you you. It's your reality, and you don't know, you might relate to another person who has also
yes,
been
yes,
through a situation, and that creates connection. And it's very authentic. It's being authentic, being who you are.
yes,
That's
yes.
very, very
I,
important.
I like that word, authentic,
Yeah.
and people tend to again. Look, I see lots of CVs, and people become very. I want to use the word pompous. They're talking about nice things they've done.
Yeah.
How many leadership positions they've had, university, whatever it is, but
Yeah.
they don't talk about the background.
Right.
Obviously, you have to put them in relation to what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah.
So you as a pastor have gone through that. Is that something to encourage people to do? Like, talk about yourself, be authentic.
Yes, definitely. You have to be transparent. You have to show who you are and be authentic. Like that's very, very important. Because if you're not, eventually it's going to show.
Right, right,
There's no
right,
way out of that. It's going to show, and you can just focus on talking about the good things and talking about all these great achievements that you've had.
yes,
You
yes,
have to be
yes,
humble. You have to show humility. Like it's very, very important. You can't just showcase the good and not the bad, because
right.
that's the reality of the world.
And I say, I will tell people, employers want people that are interesting.
Right.
Just listen to you right now. You see, I can listen to you, the whole time. You see what I mean? Because those are kind of stories we're learning from, and we appreciate who we are as a person. The last segment of this talk, Ramatullah, if you allow me, is you're very vocal, talking about experiences, talking about the family, and you talked about FGM the other day on LinkedIn. And I was like, wow, that's very brave. People may want to start giving you labels. Why do you talk about those kind of issues on LinkedIn, where it's a very professional platform? And I'm talking about this because now I want you to add social media in general, but I just want to be specific because that's where my interaction with you is LinkedIn. What's the motivation behind that?
I felt like it was time, to be honest, and then I did not plan to do that, to post that. I think I was going through my emails, and then I saw an UN Women, like, showed that, oh, on Sunday, on that date is the National Day, the awareness of FGM, to end FGM. So
It was, yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, maybe this is the right time for me to share this, and help other people. So I then, decided to post it, even though I was very hesitant at first. But I, asked like my close friends and family, and then, they were like, it's fine. If only I'm comfortable, to
Right,
do
right.
it. It's a very, very sensitive topic, to be honest.
Indeed. Indeed. And that's what I'm saying now.
and
So
and
carry on.
it's a taboo topic even to talk about in the community, so because people are still practicing that, even in the United States and all over Africa.
Yes.
So it took a lot for me, and it's I was not very unsure, but like after some thoughts, and then, and God showed me that, like, yeah, I should post it, and that's what I did. And then it's about, bringing awareness to it so that the practice can be eradicated, because it's very inhumane, like it's.
Yes. Well, I mean, so you use that, personal experience to talk about something that many people are going through. But internet doesn't forget. And don't you think sometimes when you talk about yourself and talk about experiences, these things might come to hurt you later? Or do you actually encourage people to speak out? And this is what employers like they want people with personality, people with story, people who are interesting. So don't you? Sometimes when you write about experiences, put them online, would you sometimes feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I should be quiet? Does that come to your thoughts sometimes?
Yeah, I did, definitely. I thought about that, maybe it might hurt me in the future in terms of employment and all of that. But I believe in, being transparent, and I
Yes,
believe in being an example for others. I believe that, and sharing my story also empowers other, victims who have gone through the practice to, share their story, because it takes a lot for an individual to do that, because it's something that's very, very private, and a lot of
yes,
people don't know about FGM,
yes,
especially in
yes.
the Muslim world. So there have to be one person, they have to, to encourage other people to share and bring awareness to it.
Right, right. And again, I think that's very important because, as I say, when people look for opportunities, some people forget that the first thing people do is to Google each other. You
Right.
know, when you prefer a role, the first thing I'll do, oh, let me look at this person, who person is. And whoever, and I invite my viewers to write your name, to Google your name. And, they're quite inspiring stuff that you do. You share personal experiences. And I think personally, it's a value that employers want.
Mhm.
Employers don't just want people with certificates. They want people, they want persons, they want people.
Exactly, because
And the
we are
people have an
people.
experience. Yeah, it is, but you know what I mean. I mean, sometimes, for example, Instagram now, if you go to, it's all about pictures. Uh, it's about dancing. Lots of people dance on Instagram, TikTok. But we forget that actually we can use internet in terms of creating positive vibe or positive influence. And even open opportunities as well. Um, so for you as a person, you don't get bothered really in terms of being labeled, or that doesn't bother you at all.
No, it really does not, to be honest, because like I said, always is to focus on the goal, which is the goal is to inspire people and, help people relate to your story and just giving back. So no, it doesn't really bother me, and like I believe in what I want to do, and I also believe like having God by my side, like that helps me and that encourages me to move forward, and being transparent, because that's just reality. Like
Yeah.
like
Yes,
we
yeah,
all not just you know became like who we are today by just one shot. Like we went through all the struggles, so it's, I
yes,
think, really good to show who you are, being transparent, because people sometimes tend to focus only on the good side, when I think that it's good to show all the bad side too, not only the good side.
yeah. Where do you get that calmness from? You seem to be very calm and also very articulate what you're talking about. But where is that coming from? You're quite calm and how to say nonchalant, like you're just there. Everything's fine.
No, 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 no. Because I just so believe in the work that I want to do and believe in myself. And it's not something that just happened in one shot. Like
Yeah.
I said earlier, like it took a while for me to build myself to get to where I am today.
Yes, yeah, unbelievable, unbelievable, Ramatullah. And, listen, I wish you all the best. For those that listen to us, this is the University School of Soft Skills, and today I'm talking to Ramatulahi, originally from Sierra Leone, live in America now, practicing law, and we are talking about personal stories, utilizing personal stories for opportunities. Um, uh, Last question from me, Ramatulahi, is it fair to say that we are looking at the next? Why that look?
I don't know where you're getting at. I don't know.
Why? Why? Do you know what I want to say? Do you know what I want to?
I do not.
But why that look? You look very scared.
I don't know what you want to say.
Are we looking at the future Sierra Leone president here then?
I don't know that.
Might not.
I don't know that. I'm not into politics.
Yeah, but politics is way of life, Ramatullah, and you're doing law. So people like you, we need more people. Okay, no, I take that back. People like you have got experience, and clearly you know what you want to achieve in life. We need to see that kind of face in higher offices.
Right. I agree. But I also feel like you don't have to be in a higher position to help people. You
Ah,
can help people also behind the scene. But you never know what the future holds. So
yes, yes. So at the moment, you don't think about politics at all. That's not something
no,
that you want to consider. How
no.
about become? How about being a UN boss then?
Oh my God. You're not gonna stop.
It is no look, as I say, we need those kind of faces. Look, okay, I'm a man, and we know we're living in a very patriarchal society in general. Whether you live in America or Australia, where it does sometimes the way women are being the way women are being viewed is very, very different all over the world, really.
Right.
And even though I know there are lots of women doing amazing stuff. And we can name them from Michelle Obama to Grace Michelle. We can name names, but we don't see that youthful kind of face.
Right.
People are very passionate
Right.
about things. We
Right.
don't see that. So that's why I'm asking you these kind of questions, because I'm an outsider and I see the way you carry out yourself. I'm like, you'd be a very good married to my daughter. I've got a two-year-old with me here, and I just feel like, okay, Kamala Harris has done amazing, and I think she's going to change the world. But that useful face, like you, we don't see them a lot in some high offices.
Right.
So
Yeah.
why would you consider that?
No, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate, your thoughts of thinking of me in that in that way. But yeah, I understand what you're saying because it's the lack of representation of
Mm,
women in color. It depends on where you are in the world, even in Africa.
mm, mm.
But definitely, I understand. So you never know. So I cannot say never, but right now it's not.
No, not just being effect. Well, listen. As I said, I genuinely find you very, very inspiring, and I'm extremely honored to speak to you today. And some of the things that we've discussed here, they'll stay with me forever. Because uh, as I said, sometimes we as migrants we kind of we shy away from sharing our stories. We feel like we don't belong, and so we just follow the crowd. And it can be a very lonely space sometimes. So anyway, so this is the last question. Last question for me. So are you still involved with Sierra Leone? Is this something that you want to do, like go back home and do something, or doesn't
Yeah,
matter
that's
anymore?
it. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I believe in paying it forward. So definitely, yeah, I do have, goals to help not even only Sierra Leone, anywhere in the world, anywhere in
Yes,
the
yes,
even where I live right now in my community, where yeah, I definitely believe in helping people. That's
yes,
one of my goals in life to serve humanity. So definitely, yeah.
yes, yeah. I come lots of uh, people are living in the refugee camp and doing very well. For example, you might know what's this is a Sudanese singer. He lives now out in Australia. You know him, Jamal. 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 Yes, you know him. Ramatullah. Anyway, my mind is a bit frozen at the moment. But what I'm trying to say is, it will be very interesting, to keep on hear stories of successful refugees. And I suppose success is very relative here. But in terms of opportunities, the struggle that you guys have gone through to where you are right now, I think the world needs to hear that so that it can motivate other people.
Right,
You know,
exactly. And
you know
that was just to make one last point, sorry. And that was my intentions when I made that post on LinkedIn. My intention was to inspire and motivate others. It was not about me because I don't like to put myself out there, but I've realized that in order for people to seek out for help, because I want to help people, I have to put myself out there that
Indeed.
they can reach out to me for help. So the goal when I made that post was to inspire and motivate others.
Right. Well, listen. Well, it inspired me, and we're talking now. And keep doing what you do. I think you never know kind of lives that you're changing. Well, from me, I want to say, thank you very much for your time. I'm glad that now we are in one network, so we're not strangers anymore.
Thank
And
you.
I do know that when I'm in trouble, which phone to, which number to call, if you see what I mean. Uh,
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
no, thanks so much for your time. And I wish you all the best, Ramatulahi.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.